Hello guys, it's Eli from Nintendo Network 64. I reviewed Pokemon Sun and Moon for Nintendo Enthusiasts and Enthusiast.gg. You can read my review over there. I decided to make a separate video, kind of a review discussion, a little less formal, a little more casual on my thoughts on the game. Give you an idea of whether I thought it was a great new entry or maybe there were a few things lacking. Overall, I thought Pokemon Sun and Moon were really good, really solid, lots of good enhancements and advancements in the Pokemon franchise. Unfortunately, there were a few things that I want to talk about that may have held the game back from making it as good as it possibly could have been. For example, look at the story. The story is actually pretty good in terms of how it's developed and how it's framed. It's pretty interesting, and it kind of keeps you guessing, and there's this whole other dimension to the story that kind of takes Pokemon in a direction that we're really not used to, and that I really appreciated. Unfortunately, the dialogue was really excessive, and it was to a point where it was unnecessary, not just to tell the story, but to the point where it was excessive character development. At one point, I just wanted to, go out, catch Pokemon, and battle other trainers, and instead I couldn't really do that because there was just so much dialogue meshed into the game. Another thing, for example, they're no longer gym battles. Instead, there are these things called trials, and you'll go in and it'll have you complete a different task, whether it means taking out a certain amount of trainers, or finding these Pokemon, or, battling a Kahuna. There are all sorts of different tasks, and for that, I really appreciated the variety of the trials, and it kind of kept you on your toes, and there were a ton of them, so they were exciting to do. Unfortunately, because there were so many, there was a limited amount of linearity in terms of completing the game. You would go directly from one trial to another trial to another trial to another trial, and there really wasn't that much in terms of exploration as much as I would have hoped. Pokemon, that's another element. A lot of the character designs I actually really liked. At the beginning, I thought they were kind of silly, the starters, but they've really grown on me, and I think a lot of the designs are really solid, and I appreciate that. And then add in the fact that there are a lot of renovated Kanto designs, with the alternative types. And I think that's actually really awesome. The Dark Raticates actually made Raticates cool to catch. Same thing with the Geodude. Same thing with Vulpix. There are these Pokemon that are very cool in their alternative forms. And so that kind of kept you on your toes and introduced you to new Pokemon. Unfortunately, the number of new Pokemon was really lacking. There are a lot of legendaries, which is cool in one regard to have a lot of legendaries, but that means that the regular amount of Pokemon is really limited. I think if you take out the starters and the legendaries, there are only 60 new Pokemon, maybe even less. And so, you're playing the game for 25 hours, 30 hours. Some of the Pokemon are version exclusives, so in the end, you're maybe only meeting 1 or 2 new Pokemon an hour, which sounds okay-ish, but you start getting bored. You get in all these Pokemon battles, and you kind of want to see new Pokemon, and that's unfortunate. I wish there were more designs. There are benefits, though, to this design. Right from the beginning, you're going to see Pokemon from different generations. For example, when you walk into a cave, it's not just going to be Zubats and Geodudes. You'll actually see a lot of different types of Pokemon in caves and in grass. There's a lot of diversity and generational leaps. You'll see Pokemon from all the different generations, and that's really cool. Unfortunately, there's no Pokemon Bank implementation yet, which really is annoying, because I completed my Pokedex in Alpha Sapphire, and I want to transfer everything over so I know which Pokemon I still need, which Pokemon I still need to get the base evolutions of, because when you complete the Pokedex, you're pretty much evolving the base evolutions to the final evolution, so you still need to go back in the subsequent games to get the base evolutions to complete it again. And it would have been nice to know what I'm looking for, and unfortunately, there was none of this implementation. I couldn't see any of this sort of thing. And it would have been nice if I had this from the very get-go to see which Pokemon I still need. Fortunately, there are a lot of really good, beneficial small changes that really change Pokemon for the better. I love the presentation. The geography of the Alola region is spectacular. It's these 3D models. You'll have hills coming out and you'll see them vertical. And the game actually doesn't use the 3D functionality of the 3DS, but it still looks really good. and that's really great. And you know, the presentation fits in with the music and the sound effects. Everything just pieces together very well. And that was really spectacular. Other small changes include, you know, the fact that there aren't any HMs anymore. You know, in previous games, if you wanted to surf on water, you'd have to get the HM surf, and then you'd have to have a Pokemon in your party that is able to know the move surf and can surf on the water, and it's this whole waste of space if you don't actually want to use that Pokemon. All these sorts of elements. This game improves upon that. Instead, you have these things called ride Pokemon, and at any moment you can call these Pokemon. They don't take up space in your party. I think there are 8 different ride Pokemon. There might be less. And for example, if you want to fly somewhere, you'll just call a Charizard, and it will take you and it'll fly you anywhere. If you want to, you know, travel very quickly, you can call a Tauros, and it will just run you around the area really quickly, smash through obstacles. No longer are there HMs, and that's a really spectacular improvement. Another great improvement is just small battle mechanic changes. For example, now after you beat a Pokemon, the next time you face the same type of Pokemon, you will actually see whether your moves are super effective, not very effective, or just regularly effective. And, you know, for most of us that have been playing Pokemon for a long time, we have type advantages memorized already, so it's not a huge deal, you know, it's whatever. But for a lot of new players, it's definitely beneficial to have it out there to see whether your moves are going to be super effective or not, and how to plan your strategy. So that's definitely really cool. So those subtle changes definitely enhance the experience, and it's definitely stuff I want to see the developers keep when they develop Pokemon games in the future. There are other small additions. For example, there's a new battle mode where it's 4 players. Everyone battles one Pokemon at a time, and you can choose to attack whichever of the other 3 Pokemon you want. It's kind of strategic because you're battling all players against all players. It doesn't really make any impact, though, on the main story. Like, you're not going to be going through the story and see these types of battles at any point throughout the campaign. You actually have to go to a special place to do these 4-on-4 battles. And then there are other changes like Z moves. This is actually pretty big in the game, and it adds strategy. Once per battle, you'll be able to use a Z move, which is like an ultra powerful type move. It's strategic because, number one, you have to choose which Pokemon you want to use for which type. So each Pokemon can only use one type of Z move at a time. So, you know, I had the Fire starter, and I assigned him the Dark Z move. So once per game, or once per battle, I could use an ultra powerful Dark move. Or if I wanted, I could switch out one of my other Pokemon who had a different Z move, like a Ground type Z move or whatever. So you had to plan which Pokemon would have which Z moves, which is definitely strategic. And then the other element of strategy is you want to choose when to use the Z move, because you only get one per battle. Do you use it at the beginning of the match, and then you end the battle quickly? That way you get, you know, the enemy has less turns to attack. That's definitely really great. Or, you know, what if the enemy has this good Pokemon waiting in the back? And it might be better to save your move for when a good Pokemon pops out, so that you can take it out quicker. You know, these are definitely all considerations you should take. And so I really appreciated the new strategy. I didn't think that this was just something that, you know, is a throwaway. It's definitely adds a new element for you to think about in these Z moves. And I also appreciated the fact that other elements introduced in the past weren't necessarily taken away. There are mega evolutions in this game, for example. That's a thing that exists. And I thought that would be a one-generational thing, and it's not. So I definitely appreciated all of these new enhancements that improved the game. 2 other small gripes. First of all, there is a very limited end game. So, like, it exists. There are side quests there. There are legendary Pokemon to catch after you beat the game. The game isn't too long. It took me, I think, 24 hours when I finished the game. But there, you know, there's no battle royale, or I guess there is, but it's not what you think of. There's no like battle frontier. There's none of this kind of end game that we're used to in Pokemon, which is really unfortunate. I was kind of looking forward to that. And secondly, this is a weird complaint to have. I've never really had it with Pokemon before, but because of the vast 3D environments, it actually annoys me that we can't change the camera perspective. You'll be running down, and there will be this wide open area, and the camera won't shift, so you'll want to see something to the right. And instead of just turning the camera and seeing what's to the right side, you'll have to physically, you know, run over to the right side of the environment to check out what's there. And that's really annoying. and unfortunate because I guess Pokemon is now at this point in 3D in terms of the way the game is graphically designed, to where I think moving around the camera perspective it should be there, and it was just annoying at times to not have that. So overall, I think that Pokemon Sun and Moon are really solid games. I gave them an 8.5 on Nintendo Enthusiast because there just are so many excellent new small features added. Unfortunately, there's few small things like just the excessive amount of dialogue, the lack of the Pokemon Bank implementation, the lack of a substantial end game. These small things really hold back Sun and Moon from being a really excellent new title. Nevertheless, of course, I think you should be playing it. I think it's a game you're going to have fun with, and hopefully if the community grasps it and really holds on, it'll have a good meta game surrounding it as well, because that's really what helps Pokemon games be successful in the long run. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.